Hi there folks, welcome into the Truck King YouTube channel. I am currently inside the 2025 Toyota 4Runner TRD Pro and we are going off-road and I can't wait to see how this thing does. So we're going to start here with our ditch crossing. Right now I have the 4Runner in 4 high and I'm using the multi-terrain select. We're going to put it over into mud mode. And let's see if we can't just crawl through here. Now things have really dried up even since the last time we were here. It's been quite hot. So the mud is real dry. I feel like as long as I don't have a clearance issue, we're just gonna cruise right through here, but let's find out. So I like to creep in here nice and slow. I don't wanna use momentum. I wanna put the 4x4 system to the test and the traction of these tires. Oh, we're creeping in now. Let's shut off those parking sensors. Oh, feels like a bit of rub. But pretty soon here my nose is gonna start. Oh! And there's my automatic emergency braking. Listen, I get it. These vehicles are packed with safety features. I feel like once I put a vehicle into mud mode though, it should know that no, I don't need the automatic emergency braking. So just hold real quick while I shut off all of those sensors. You can do it all up here in the digital gauge cluster. And I should have done it before we got off-road, but I think like most owners, you don't think about it, right? So I blame Toyota for this. They need to automatically shut that stuff off when you go into one of the off-road modes. And we're back in business now. So still drive, still 4 high, still mud mode. Let's see if we can creep up out of this ditch. Oh, beautiful. Beautiful, like butter. And I mean, like I mentioned, it's pretty dry right now, so that wasn't even all that muddy. So yeah, tires had loads of grip and the clearances were great. Nicely done, 4Runner TRD Pro. And if you want to learn more about this thing, why don't we kick off this review right now? So of course, TRD Pro is about off-road enhancements, but it also gets its own unique styling, that unique Toyota grille up there, rigid fog lamps down below, a different fascia. You can see all the black accents all over. And one other thing I'll call it up front, this integrated light bar. And what I like about what Toyota does here is they aim it out to the sides, so it gives you a wider field of vision when you're driving at night, on-road or off-road. Now that only comes on with the high beams, but still, that's really nice to have. And yeah, honestly, I think this 4Runner looks aggressive, it looks mean, it probably looks like an off-roader should, so why don't you just drop in the comments right now and let me know, what do you think of the styling on this redesigned 4Runner TRD Pro? So what are the off-road upgrades? Well, you always want to start with wheels and tires. So this is a set of 33-inch Toyo Open Country ATs, and those are wrapped around 18-inch TRD wheels, nice blacked out wheels too. Now behind them, there's a set of Fox shocks. This uses QS3, that stands for Quick Switch 3, because there's actual manual clickers on those shocks. You can get down there and adjust them. I'll show you that in just a little bit. And now, of course, you want to know the off-road numbers. Well, this thing has an approach angle of 33 degrees, a breakover angle of 24 degrees, a departure angle of 24 degrees, and it gets total 10.1 inches of ground clearance. There's also a rear locking differential that's part of the package. That's important. And then all the off-road technology, things like multi-terrain select and the multi-terrain monitor, and a whole bunch of other stuff that we'll get into once we are inside. Let's take a look at the back seat now of this 4Runner. I like to start with the child seat situation. So you do have lower latch here, passenger and driver side, and then there are 3 top tethers along the back. Now I'll climb in. This is 34.8 inches of second row leg room. And it's not terrible. This is my driving position, so you notice this seat is quite a ways back, so it could definitely be moved forward. And I have just enough knee room. My knees are a little bit tall, definitely. The floor feels a little bit tall. I do have enough headroom. Yeah, it's not massive back here, but I am comfortable. I'd say this is sort of as small as it can get before I would start to feel really cramped. And it's worth mentioning that this is actually just slightly larger than the outgoing 4Runner. So yes, this new model, you're actually getting a little bit more second row leg room. Now before we go out back to show you the storage, I do want to show you one other thing. So these seats fold and tumble. Now, one of the reasons for that is because the 4Runner can also have a third row. This TRD Pro doesn't have the third row, but if it did, yes, you need to climb back there. But actually what I wanted to show you was this. There's almost a little secret storage bin right here. And actually this wall can remove too, so if you just want a little flat space, you can have it, or you can use these. And if you're wondering, this right here is the hybrid battery pack. So yes, that's why the floor is so tall here, and that's why you have the little access port over there to get into that battery. But yeah, I like to see the little storage up front here. And now let's go back, I'll show you the rest of the storage. And before I climb in, I'll show you this. This is a classic 4Runner feature, a classic Toyota feature for that matter. You do have the powered rear glass, so that is handy. I think it's nice if you quickly need to access things, you can just grab them. And the key's in my pocket right now. When you have it in your pocket, yeah, you can just walk up and open that. Now we'll open up the entire hatch. And it is a powered hatch here in our TRD Pro. And it reveals quite a bit of storage space. We have this nice red cargo net in our model here today. I'll just move that out of the way so you can see it. But yes, like I said, this is quite a bit of storage here. You're also getting these little cubbies up on the sides and cup holders, because of course there could be a third row, even though there isn't one in this model. Other features back here, you are getting a 2400 watt plug on this side, so nice to have some real power. And again, another little false floor section where you can store some stuff. Always nice to have little nooks and crannies to tuck things away, especially on a model like a TRD Pro that's built for adventure. Now, I did mention the second row had a little bit more legroom than the outgoing model. Well, this is the bad news. This model actually has slightly less storage than the outgoing model, a lot of which can probably be chalked up to how tall that floor is. Let's talk towing and payload now. So the number on this 4Runner is 6,000 pounds. A couple things I'll point out about the hitch. All of these new Toyotas that use the TNGA-F platform have this style of hitch, and you can see how thick it is. It's basically double walled, and that requires a longer pin. Now that will be included when you buy one of these things, but it's something to note. Another thing you should know is where the light hookups are. They're way down here underneath the bumper. This has never been a good setup. It wasn't good on the last 4Runner, and it's still not great. I really wish Toyota had have integrated those nicer somehow, maybe into the bumper or just up closer, because you really got to dig down there to get your light hookups. And if you have a trailer with short wiring, that can be pretty far to reach as well. Now, payload, and we're going to check what's on the door jamb sticker up here. So this model is good for 895 pounds. That's not a great number, but it is an off-road focused model, and a lot of the times when you get a model which is meant for high-speed off-roading, the suspension just has to accommodate that, so you give up some payload. So I think that's what's going on here, but still, any vehicle that's pitched as an adventure vehicle should have decent payload, so 895 feels pretty low. Let's look underneath this TRD Pro now. So first of all, tow hooks, and they are basically underneath. They're kind of tucked underneath that front bumper. Now you can see there's a little gap here between front plastic fascia and the skid plate. I wish that was closed up, but it's not bad, not nearly as bad as some other products we've tested, like the Toyota Sequoia TRD Pro. Now moving back, we get to this massive aluminum skid plate. That's my magnet, so I can check. It doesn't stick, so it's aluminum. I think part of the reason they go aluminum here is just because it looks so nice, and then they stamp that TRD in there. And even when this thing is just sitting on the ground, when you're far enough back, you can see the front side of this skid plate. So yeah, I think they're really going for that style, plus quite a bit of protection. Now over here, you get a clear look at the suspension. There's those QS3 shocks, and here's the manual clickers up in here. If you have a truck ramp like we do, this is the best way to adjust your clickers. Otherwise, you're getting down on the ground to get in there. But yeah, now you can see them nice and clearly. Now up front here, we do have independent front suspension. As we roll back, we get to the next skid plate. That one is a steel skid plate, and this is here to protect the disconnectable sway bar mechanism. You can see it right here. This essentially allows for better articulation, and I like that Toyota gives it its own protection. Now moving back, we get to the next little baby skid plate. That's a steel plate right on the transfer case, and this cross member right here in the frame is probably going to protect that a little bit as well. So I like to see that. Finally, for skid plates, we get a steel fuel tank skid plate. I really like to see this. Toyota often uses composite plastic on its fuel tanks, but here on this model, we're getting actual steel back here, which is nice. Then at your rear end, you're still getting a solid axle right there, plus a full-size spare tire hanging out at the back. And then finally, I should point out that these are the QS3 shocks too, but these also have remote reservoirs at the back. And now we go into our offset ruts over here. So this is really a test of articulation and of lockers. Now, this 4Runner does have a front disconnectable sway bar, but I've left it connected for now because I want to see what happens with it connected. And if it struggles a lot, then we can always disconnect it. So we're coming up to the point right here where it's going to lose traction. Right about here. Yeah, right there. Man, that was fast. Nicely done, Toyota. Now here it's losing traction again. That was, I mean, good articulation, but more than that, a super fast acting 4x4 system. It got the power exactly where it needed to be. I wasn't locked up at all, but I was in mud mode, and I feel like with that one change, the multi-terrain select is really watching where the slip is. It's using brake force to send the power across. You know what? This was our experience in other Toyotas, that their 4x4 system seems to act incredibly quickly, and that was the same experience here. So even though I could have unlocked that front stabilizer bar, I didn't need to, and it crept right through there. But if you're curious as to how much that really makes a difference when you unlock that stabilizer bar, watch this. I want to demonstrate now what that sway bar disconnect really does. So we're going to use our truck ramp here, but we're going to use it like an RTI ramp. Now an RTI ramp is all about measuring articulation. So what we're going to do, we're going to drive up it just on the driver's side with that sway bar locked. And then when one of the wheels starts to lift, usually that's the rear driver, when it just starts to lift, we're going to stop and we're going to put a mark here on the ramp as to how far that front tire got. Then we will unlock the sway bar, we'll do it again, and then we'll put a mark on the ramp as to where that front tire got. And with the sway bar unlocked, it should get quite a bit further. How much further? I don't know, but that's what we're going to find out. Okay, here we go. Let's turn off the parking sensors. Thank you very much. So I've got an eye on that rear tire. Oh, right there. I actually got it to the point there, yeah, where the tire is slipping. So if I just take my foot off the brake, that's as far as I even can go. So I'm gonna put it in park right here, and let's get a mark. And yeah, this rear tire is just touching the ground, just barely. So I'm gonna grab my chalk line over here. And I'm gonna climb under here, and I'm gonna put a mark on the ramp right by the center of the tire, which is right at this piece of wood, just in front of it, right about there. Okay, I got my chalk line there. Now let's disconnect and see what happens. Oh, I already feel like I'm getting further. Oh, there's that same point. Yeah, right about there. So throw it in park, lock it down. Don't forget my chalk. And yeah, it feels roughly the same. This tire is just starting to come off the ground, the rear driver's side. So now let's climb underneath and see. And this mark is gonna be right about there. Okay, and then I'll pull off and we'll measure exactly how far the difference is. But I should actually say, while it's up like this, the reason this matters for off-roading is because you're often going over, crazy uneven surfaces. You got one side up, one side down, but you always want all 4 tires to remain in contact with the ground. So having a front sway bar that disconnects means you can be on terrain that has, higher highs and lower lows, but you can keep in traction with the ground. So that's what this is really all about out there in the real world. Now I'll get that number for you. So just by eyeballing it, I'd say it's about a foot, but let me get the old tape measure, see how good my eyeball is. Oh, look at that. It's basically exactly 1 foot. So yeah, that's roughly the difference. About 1 extra foot, but you saw just how much taller up the vehicle got because it's 1 foot forward, but it's also a few inches taller, right? So that's what that disconnectable sway bar actually does out there on the trail. And now everybody, we're running the Hydroline trail. And I gotta tell you, just like the ditch, it's really dry up here right now. So there's some mud, but not a ton of mud. Still, we're getting into it. Oh man. Nice thing about these hybrids, the power is right there, nice and aggressive. And so far, man, the tires are also feeling quite good. Here's my first little pit. Let's see how deep it is. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, sinking in a little there, but I don't even think it slipped once. So kudos to the tires and to the clearance. And like I said, we didn't even really shoot the whole first part of the trail because it's so dry. So we're already here at the water pit. Let's see how it does. And into the swamp. Oh yeah, water is actually pretty low here compared to when we had the Rivian up here too. And at this point, I'll say the suspension is doing an excellent job. I have it on full soft right now, which is setting 1 on the QS3s. There's that big rock there. And I didn't touch a thing with my skid plate. Let's see on the hill here. Any skid plate? Ooh, 1. 1 raw kiss on the nose skid plate, and that is it. And as I was coming through there, I hit a couple rocks. Just straight on the tires, and the suspension feels really good. You can just feel like this thing, it's one of those kind of vehicles where it makes me want to go faster and faster. The way the suspension's feeling, it makes me want to go back in there and hit that water at twice the speed I just did because it's taking care of me so well. So that's definitely a good thing. And we'll turn around and go back down the hill. As I start back down the hill here towards the water once again, I'm going to put it down in 4 low. And that's so I can use crawl control. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 crawl control speed settings. I'm gonna put it on setting 2. And now my foot is off the brake, off the gas. This is all crawl control. Crawl control is the original. This is the first system that came out from any brand that kind of handled off-roading for you in terms of the throttle and the braking. And now just about every brand has followed suit. So kudos to Toyota. And the original system used the ABS, and so it didn't sound very good. It really sounded noisy, and it sounded like it was doing damage to the vehicle. And so they came along already a couple years ago and fixed that up too. So this new crawl control system, Yeah, works seamlessly. Now we're coming into the water. I'm full speed now. This is still all crawl control. I haven't touched the gas. Got it at full speed. Let's let the Toyota just crawl right through here. Get it, 4Runner. Yes. One thing I definitely like about crawl control is how smoothly it rolls on that throttle. It's never choppy, it's never jumpy. As you come up and over rocks, it just gradually brings that throttle up until you overcome the obstacle, then drops it back down. Very nicely done, 4Runner. Now, no, is crawl control the most fun system in the world to use? No, I like driving out here by myself. I like being the one to have the smooth throttle inputs overcoming the obstacles. But you know what? You can't argue with the fact that it works well. And I think for new off-roaders, someone who's new to doing stuff like this, it can be really beneficial because you can really just focus on tire placement and what you're doing with your hands rather than your feet. So yes, I think I always say this. I like crawl control. I like to have these systems. It's just another tool in the toolbox. I don't view it as something I would use all the time. I would only use it if I absolutely had to, because don't forget as well, crawl control can do things that I can't as the driver. It can break one individual wheel if it feels like it needs to. So yes, straight up, it can just do more things with the 4x4 system that I can't do. So I'll say it again, it's just another tool in the toolbox of this 4Runner. All right, now we've moved on over to the left hook. And I gotta tell you, the 4Runner's been nothing but confidence inspiring so far. So same thing, 4 high, multi-terrain select on in auto mode this time. And it's just eating these trails for lunch. Now let's see how it does on the hill. Oh, okay, bit of spin there. Oh, there's a rock on the skid plate. Oh, a little squirrely in the back end. Up and over the rocks on the hill. Nice, nice, a little bit of drama, but not much. And I'll say it again, hitting those rocks, man, the suspension really is soaking that stuff up, and the power is just right underfoot, and I do like having that as compared to just the turbocharged engines. Now, you can't get that engine in a TRD Pro, I recognize that, but I've driven that in a bunch in the 4Runners, and the hybrid just adds that immediate punch, which feels really good when you're out here in the mud. And back out the back side of the left hook, and the mud here is getting deeper and longer all the time. And as I keep saying, this thing's done nothing but inspire confidence, so let's hit this a little bit and have some fun, shall we? Yes, yes. Oh, 4Runner, nicely done. The other thing that's jumping out to me now is just the dimensions, the size of this thing, the weight of it. It feels light, it feels skinny, feels small, feels like it fits out here really quite well. So yeah, for an off-roader, if you're out here in the woods, this is the size of vehicle you want. Man, so far everything about this 4Runner is feeling great, but now we're gonna take it out of the woods, out of the mud anyways. Actually, we'll still be in the woods, but we're gonna hit some wide open trails and really get some speed. Let's see how that feels. This, folks, is where I think the TRD Pro is really gonna shine. We're over here at just this local farm field that has a wide open trail. We don't have too many of those around here, but we do have at least one. So I'm gonna hit this thing at top speed, and let's see how this thing handles. And right now I have it in full soft, and then I will get out after and we'll adjust the clickers up to full firm and just see how much of a difference it really makes. But for now, let's hit it. Oh, and again, the power feels good. I'm in 4 high, multi-terrain select in auto. Nice. Oh, I got a little bit light in the back end there. So that was about 55 to 60 kilometers an hour I got up to. And there was one rut there where, yes, when I came out of it, The back end did feel like it came pretty much right up off the ground. So I was working at the steering a little bit. So maybe I was close to the limit there. But yeah, that was still pretty dang impressive considering I got up to 60K and it just jumps up to speed. You know what? The other thing I'll say now too is the exhaust does actually sound pretty good when this engine is under load. Now I did notice out on the highway and daily driving, it was a little drony, it was getting a little bit annoying, but especially when I'm out here and I want to sort of hear the growl from that engine, yeah, it's pronounced and sounds all right. And now we're going back through, let's hit it again. So there's 50, there's 60. Oh! Definitely felt like my rear end caught a bit of air there. Whew. Gosh, that is so fun. Look, TRD Pro, it was designed in the desert. They always had this in mind. I think that's one of the reasons why they brought out the Trail Hunter was because TRD Pro was always about high speed off-roading, where now Trail Hunter can sort of be the other side of the coin and be more of that overlander and rock crawler. But yeah, when it comes to the high speed stuff, this thing feels excellent out here. And sure, 60K on some of those whoops I hit, that was about the limit, but that is an impressive limit compared to a lot of the off-roaders that we test. And I'll say it again too, it feels lightweight, really light on its feet. The handling is right there, so everything about it at speed felt good. Now I want to adjust the suspension, so I'm gonna crawl underneath, I'm gonna change up those clickers, and then yeah, we'll do it at full stiff, which is not what you want. For something like this, you probably want it on full soft, but I'm just super curious as to what the difference is gonna be, so let's go ahead and do that. Now I'm gonna adjust the suspension, and here's one of the problems with the clickers. They're not that easy to get to, and now I've been off-road. Look how muddy this thing is. There's basically no way I'm gonna be able to do this without getting somewhat muddy, and look, I got my nice shirt on today and everything. But anyways, I'm gonna reach back here to the clicker, and yes, it's absolutely caked in mud. I can't even see. Oh, there it goes. 1, 2, 3. Okay, I'm over now. And yeah, I managed to keep the shirt clean, but my fingers got pretty muddy. Let's see how the fronts do. So I guess this is pretty much inevitable if you're out off-roading and you want to change your suspension, but I would say try and set it before you get off-road and then not have to touch it, or else you're going to be doing this. Oh, the front's definitely a little cleaner. And I would say a little bit easier to get to as well, right up in there. Now let's go do the other two. All right, there's full stiff. I think I kept my shirt clean. Oh no, maybe the tiniest bit there, but couldn't say the same for my fingies. Let's get back out there now and see how it feels. Okay, now we're in full firm. Let's hit it. Oh, and even just right off the line, it didn't lift the nose as much and the rear didn't squat as much. I'm not gonna hit it quite as fast. Oh yeah. That's a pronounced difference. That was 45 kilometers an hour. So, oh yeah, a good 15 slower. And the back end still felt like it was coming off the ground in the exact same spot. Everything just felt stiffer. Everything feels tighter, you know, it feels like the handling is a little bit quicker, and I like that. But then when you're hitting those obstacles, yeah, no, this is not the setting you want. But I'm happy to see it is a pronounced difference. And I knew full stiff isn't what I wanted for this field. I just wanted to see if there was a pronounced difference, and I can absolutely say that there is. So with that in mind, you know, when would you want each setting? Well, for high speed off-roading, for hitting, you know, big bumps, moving at speed, yeah, full soft is probably where you want to be. However, if you do feel like what you're doing is bottoming out that suspension a lot, then you might want to go up to that mid setting or even till full firm, because this setting isn't going to bottom me out. It just means I can't take things quite as quickly. So you got to find what works for you. The other thing that I felt in driving with this 4Runner this week is that when I'm on road, I like it in full firm because it's still not that firm compared to a lot of other vehicles, so it's not too stiff, it's not uncomfortable, but as I mentioned, it gives you that tighter handling, just a better feeling when you're cruising down the highway, for instance, rather than being in full soft, which makes everything a little bit more vague, a little bit more floaty. So nice to have those controls. The one unfortunate thing here I will say is that these dampers aren't electronically controlled. You know, other brands are doing that. Look at Ford with the Ranger Raptor. They're also using Fox shocks, but they use live valve shocks. Those things can adjust their damping force on the fly, and they can adjust their damping force based on your drive mode. So from inside the cab, you can change those suspension settings. And yes, I realize that adds cost and complexity, but at this price point, it is something I wish we had. So I like the QS3s, I like the way they work. I don't love changing them and getting muddy, but overall, I do come away feeling like, yeah, Toyota, you should have gone a little further and given us those shocks that could be adjusted from here in the cab. Alrighty folks, well, that is the end of this video. Now I still need to drop the price on you. So this 4Runner as it sits here in Canada is gonna sell for about $82,000. So no, it's not gonna come cheap, but I really think if you can afford it, you're getting an incredibly capable off-road SUV right out of the box. You wanna go crawling through the mud, you can do that. You want to go flying across a field, you can do that too. And I didn't even mention on-roading, but yes, the daily drivability of this 4Runner is way better than the model it replaces. So in just about every way, I gotta say, I think this TRD Pro is a solid vehicle. But now I need to hear from you. Why don't you drop in the comments, let me know what you think about everything you've seen in this video. As always, while you're down there, don't forget to hit like, hit subscribe, hit join to become a member of our channel, and then come on right back here to Truck King to see what we're testing next. See ya.